So it's a pleasure being here once again tonight. And I know a lot of persons were really fascinated today with the eclipse, but where I live, we are unable to actually see it live. So the best option where I got to actually view it was online, which they had a live coverage. So NASA had done that live coverage of it. And also all those that enjoyed that time with their glasses and were able to view. So kudos to you. But today I would like to continue what I have started, and the topic at hand is, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly. So that's Romans chapter 2, verses 28 to 29. And as is expected, this topic, like the one which was shared last week and which I dealt with, is often used by our SDA friends and their ever emerging offshoots to teach that a Christian is a spiritual Jew. So, brethren, I'll start. Their position, they think, is strengthened by the fact that the Apostle Paul discussed in the same verse the Jew and the circumcised in heart. And if one were not skilled in the doctrines of the New Testament Church of Jesus Christ, one may be more than a little confused by this Jew circumcision linkage. However, when one studies Romans chapter 2 carefully, one would soon observe that the Apostle Paul is not using the term circumcised in heart as a synonymous phrase for the expression of one who is a Jew inwardly. For if that were done, that would contradict Jesus' teaching of Matthew chapter 9, verses 16 to 17, which highlights Judaism and Christianity as separate entities whose merger must never be contemplated, far less attempted or initiated. For if that were done, both Judaism and Christianity would suffer irreparably. If this be so, what then is Paul trying to communicate to the Church of Jesus Christ? The following. I sincerely hope will go a long way in clarifying this inward Jew issue. As I proceed to treat with this inward Jew issue, if possible, I would like you to read Romans chapter 2, verse 1, then verses 3 to 12, then verses 17 to 29. Then Romans chapter 3, verses 1 to 2, and verses 9 to 10. And understand that the Apostle Paul is chiding the Jews for their hypocrisy of preaching one thing while they practice the opposite. So, for confirmation, read Romans chapter 2, verses 3 to 11. Moreover, he was informing them that, notwithstanding the fact that they were the custodians of the oracles of God, as Romans chapter 3, verses 1 to 2 states, they were not better than the Gentiles, since, as far as God was concerned, both Jews and Gentiles were now partners in the same sinner's ship on the said disastrous hell-bound trip, as Romans chapter 3, verses 9 to 10 states. From this perspective, therefore, we must understand that the Apostle Paul is informing the Jews, in no uncertain terms, that a true Jew is a Jew who is sincere in his words and deeds, and not one who was fortunate enough to be born a natural Jew. To cite a few examples of true Jews, We have Moses, Joshua, and Caleb, Joseph, and Daniel in the Old Testament times. And during the times of Jesus' earthly ministry, we have Zacharias and Elizabeth, who were both declared to be righteous. So, as confirmation of my statement, please read Luke chapter 1, verses 5 to 6. And Paul, of whom it is also recorded that he was blameless. Read Philippians chapter 3, verse 6. We also have Mary, the mother of Jesus, who was declared to be blessed among women, and Nathanael, whom Jesus declared to be an Israelite indeed, meaning a Jew, in whom there was no guile. Read John chapter 1, verse 47. So the names stated today represent Jews who were Jews in heart and not just Jews in flesh only. I trust that this information today would help you to understand what the Apostle Paul is saying in Romans chapter 2, verses 28 to 29 to the Church of Jesus Christ. Now, concerning the Apostle Paul's linkage of the inward Jew to the circumcised in heart, I forward, by God's grace, the following explanation. In Judaism, which is the religion of the Israelites, circumcision of the flesh was but the sign of circumcision of the heart, a sign which was given to Abraham after he stumbled in his walk and made Ishmael with his servant. By this fact alone, one understands that circumcision of the flesh was only the sign of circumcision of the heart and not true circumcision itself. This fact, Romans chapter 4, verse 11, surely confirms. Because of the stated fact that I'm sharing today, the Jew who, by natural heritage, is circumcised only in the flesh, is, in the sight of God, uncircumcised. If he is not circumcised in heart, as can be seen from the following text, which I'll be reading Jeremiah chapter 4, from verses 3 to 4, which states, For thus saith the Lord to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, Break up your fallow ground, and sow not among thorns. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord, and take away the foreskins of your hearts, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire, and burn that none can quench it, because of the evil of your doings. So that was Jeremiah chapter 4, verses 3 to 4. So from the verses, therefore, we know that Paul is not saying that a true Jew is a Christian, for that is not so. For obvious doctrinal reasons, one being, while a Jew does not have to be born again to become a Jew, the acquisition of the new birth is an imperative of Christianity. This being the case, Romans chapter 2, from verses 28 to 29, must be interpreted to reflect the reality shared today. As I come to a close, brethren, a true Jew then is a Jew who is sincere in practicing his or her Jewish religion from the heart. That is, a Jew whose actions confirm his or her declared beliefs. On the other hand, when a Jew's actions contradict his or her religious beliefs, that one, though circumcised in the flesh, disqualifies himself from being a Jew indeed. So, what is shared today, brethren, and nothing else, is the true interpretation of Romans chapter 2, verses 28 to 29. For Judaism and Christianity are separate entities with different callings, natures, and destinies, and as such, must never be treated as synonymous entities. from Matthew chapter 9, verse 16 to 17, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 16 to 17, Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, and Colossians chapter 3, verses 10 to 11, all contradict the SDA's position. So, that's the end of my segment today, brethren. I will be live next week again. And brethren, please prepare yourselves for Jesus Christ's return. For many years, a lot of persons have said they have heard such statements and Jesus have not yet arrived. But brethren, pay close attention to what is happening throughout the world. And Jesus' coming is near. So, from one brethren to another, and for all those that want to walk uprightly in this present time and live holy and righteously, we have our part to play, and we must prepare ourselves for the return of our Savior and our King, Jesus Christ. So, brethren, I'll be live next week again. Have a safe and productive week. Remember, Jesus Christ loves you and I love you. So blessed for now, brethren.